2 losses on it that they are still comfortable picking it. But we're going to go to Battleground, see if it is Tomb, if it is Battlefield. And it's going to be Battlefield of Eternity selected here by Team 12. You know, BOE probably stands out as the most likely, again, just based on the fact that even if Simplicity went with the map selection, that is one of their highest go-tos as well.
For Team 12, sitting at 5-1 on that Battleground, so definitely a comfortable thing, but they've used very unique drafts on this. We've had a triple warrior from Team 12 if you look back at the earlier part of the year. We've seen the Lunara on this Battleground. We've seen the Lunara Li Ming combo. So I feel that if they're going to go, I can only feel that a Tracer is going to be prioritized.
Yeah.
And you either have to draft against it. I remember last year, Varian started to become a little bit of a thing, and I remember King Caffeine trying it out, and it didn't work good. It didn't work well when they were on that Gale Force roster. There's some other options we can see to deal with that Tracer, most notably the Uther. But if it comes to sustained fights, can you afford that type of lockdown? So
it's going to get to the point where, honestly, with how little Uther we have in North America, honestly, Tracer might just be on a tear until NA is willing to kind of make that shift within the thought process to maybe better be able to deal with her, especially on BOE. We'll find out, though. Simplicity not wanting to deal with that Maiev this game, not going to pick it up for themselves, end up banning it out.
Team 12 has a decision here. Hanzo is almost impossible to give up on this Battleground. But so is Medivh. I was going to say, are they willing to give up Medivh to potentially pick up Hanzo? For Simplicity, Hosty, Hanzo has been far and away, or excuse me, Hanzo has been by far and away the best hero for Hosty. And if they don't go the hero who has a 70+ win percentage on Battlefield of Eternity. Yeah, there we go.
End up committing. I was going to say if they don't, I think it would be like a Tracer. It's just a way to deny and immediately pick it up, accents the map, and then hopes to just be like, well, Team 12, now you don't have that as an option. I'm sure somebody on the side of Simplicity would feel confident enough to bust out that Tracer.
You know, we saw, was it the Hero's Hearth? They went the double support on this. Got really far behind, came back and
they had no right winning that game. Yeah. Let's be real here.
They did have a variant in that composition.
They did have a variant in that composition, yeah.
This is probably the only Battleground and the only hero that you can make a double support work confidently, because Hanzo carries the weight of so many other heroes when it comes to the Immortal race.
He can race, he can team fight, which are really the only two things you need.
Keep him alive, and everything's probably going to be just fine.
Genji, Tyrael going to be picked up for Team 12. Really offensive there from them. Going to make Simplicity really kind of second-guess themselves over the earlier stages of these team fights. There's the Uther. I was going to say, I want to see an Uther purely based on the early game fighting of that Genji and that Tyrael. Also, kind of removes the fear of the Tracer if that's committed to later on. There's that Blaze we were talking about before. Not going to be a map where Blaze gets as much value. Yeah. He's not as effective in team fights until he hits the later stages. Those Talonteers not only make him really hard to kill, but also do a lot of damage. But then, the bunker has a way to hit that pause button.
I do wonder if we might still see a Garrosh come out on the side of Team 12, because Goku recently has kind of picked up that Tyrael. They're going to potentially ban Garrosh to make sure that's not available, because we saw a lot of change. Kira would go over to Tyrael in the early part of the year. It was kind of like an old school thing, and then they were trying to do a lot of different things, and it wasn't working out for them. Goku ended up picking up Tyrael in a couple of games, so it's not a foregone conclusion that that is going to be adjusting on that tier. It's likely, but not confirmed.
They ban out the Garrosh. Doesn't really scream kind of anything in any direction so much. Just because the Garrosh is pretty good into the Genji, very, threatening into the front lines. And if you get a Garrosh post-secondary ban phase, oftentimes you look at that and you just go, yeah, that was a pretty big win in this draft. I don't feel like it's, that crazy. Normally I would be like, this is a tell, but when you consider, the Genji picked up on one side and then the Tyrael is one of the best answers. The synergy's there, and it doesn't scream to me the risk of the Genji Tracer, but it very much still could be something Simplicity is afraid of and maybe wants to rid of. I don't know if I would be willing to risk it, but at the same time, I have Uther on my team, and Uther is by far the best into that kind of play style.
There's a lot to be considered here. Genji, again, doesn't show much. Genji generally is going to be the Cure hero, but again, that's another hero that in the past they had mixed all over the place, but I think Cure settled in on that hero. Dansky, again, you've got to worry about the potential Li Ming coming out here. He does really well on that. Lunara was generally the Cure hero, but obviously Dansky can pick up any number of heroes. So I think the Li Ming into an Uther, into a Blaze, not as appealing.
voluntary support choke. Or never mind, I was like, wait a minute, I forgot we got an Uther. If Tempo Storm isn't playing, I refuse to believe Uther apparently exists after begging for it in like week 6 and 7. No, not going to be the support choke though. Ridding of the Malfurion. I think that's probably going to be the best compared to the Stukov. The kill potential doesn't synergize too well with everything like that Team 12 has, even though it's better into the early game. So I feel like that's probably going to be the safer one there. That in mind, you know, there's a lot of comfort. You don't even have to. You can Rhaegar. Yeah, it's not like this is a cripple. It's just going, yeah, Mouse objectively pretty strong. We don't want to deal with this.
Could also, depending on what the last few picks are, they could sit on it, maybe go a Kharazim down the road. But Rhaegar does seem a lot more likely than any other support. Gives you a lot. They go Kharazim right out the gate here.
I think that's bold before seeing the Warrior because we still have an Arthas opportunity. Especially with a Blaze pickup and an Uther, there's already enough individual survivability where it wouldn't be crazy to put the Arthas as a solo frontliner. That in mind, Tyrael Diablo does provide enough single target threat to get a lot of damage out to him. I don't know. I don't know if we'll see the confidence of that kind of pickup from Simplicity, but I wouldn't mind it. And again, you never, I don't want to say you never want to, but in this current meta as it stands, like it's pretty hard to pick that Kharazim without knowing that. Yes, it does accent the map and it's a bit different case, especially having a Tyrael, but I do wonder if that was Team 12 taking a risk that was kind of unnecessary.
In a weird way, I almost wouldn't mind an Anubarak. Like, it's something that gives you, I think, a little bit of frontline control.
There's enough melee, yeah.
Yeah, there's enough melee coming at you. Go better barbs to kind of slow down the frontal assault there. You can get out of danger when it comes to the Diablo Tyrael. Obviously, your health pool is a bit minimal.
Double support, there it is. And an ETC, solo Hanzo, double support, coming out from Simplicity.
I feel like this has to be a Li Ming. You get the damage, you get the Wave of Force interrupt. The only problem is we could be, well, if I'm looking at Dansky, but the only problem is, I think at this point, is you have a potential D-Shield Mosh Pit opportunity now.
I think I'd take Tychus, honestly. The only reason I do not want to pick double resets and double support. The only way I lose this game. I mean, think about it. You got Divine Shield, you got Blaze sitting on the other side of the table. I just don't want to deal with that. So then Tychus can be that interrupt a little bit, help with the siege on top of it all. I don't know. We may see that and just go, you know what, win this game before 10 even hits, right? At Battlefield's a map, you can get away with that, but that is one of those double support. The best thing that they have is actually good against double resets.
See how it plays out. Tychus, Li Ming have to be the most considered heroes. Outside of that, I can't really see much of anything coming in here. I mean, Junkrat's still lingering somewhere. Yeah, Greymane. Forgot about him.
Yeah, I forgot about him too, but does better than the Tychus suggestion I had. Doesn't have the interrupt though. That is the only reason the Tychus kind of over that. Better on the race. So I do think, yeah, I think now, you know, kind of remembering Greymane exists, that it is going to be a bit better here. When it comes to the team fight and the kill potential overall, also provides multiple threat opportunities for onto King Caffeine if you want to go into the Cursed Bullet rather than go for the throat. I mean, I would expect we actually do see Cursed Bullet rather than go for the throat in this game, even though you have it with the Tyrael dive composition. I feel like you have to find somebody who can provide threat to that front line.
Just the Uther pickup. It always seemed, I mentioned it, that they might go back to it when it comes to Towers of Doom, but they're here again. This is one of the rare maps and rare heroes that you can do this with is the Hanzo. So if they can protect that, hold on that front line, Hanzo gets good poke value. Well, the problem is, do you get too far behind before level 7 kicks in when you get that cooldown reduction, or can you just kind of hold in these skirmishes? And with double support, it allows you to stay in there a little bit longer, but the minute that one element falls apart for this team composition, the whole thing kind of falls off.
Yeah, it does kind of break apart quickly, and we'll see if it can hold its own here. As we're getting ready, Battlefield of Eternity Game 2 here between Team 12 and Simplicity.
We do see Goku going over to that Tyrael, so that early Tyrael pickup did indeed be in that Goku, as Diablo was picked up there for Justin, so definitely a bit of a change up. Dansky, of course, on Greymane. This is only going to be his second Greymane game. It's kind of probably why it escaped me. It's normally Kira's been that Genji Greymane player for their team.
I was trying to, for a moment, sit here and think, is there any world we don't get Iron Fist? If so, what and why? Ends up committing to the Iron Fist. Everybody else sticking to the norm for the most part here when looking at level 1s.
Laning setup. I think we're going to see maybe try and take advantage of the Greymane. It looks like they might have been looking for an early kill, maybe an early defense with this double support. You can provide that armor, kind of siege up there. now that they don't see it. Diablo and Karazim just going to rotate down, but Tyrael Greymane, Dred, this is something you talked about, the 3-2 split.
Oh, baby, it's one of my favorites. So mainly when looking at a 3-2 split, there's, man, I can't spend the entirety of this game talking about when, where, and why, but the TLDR of it is, generally speaking, a 1 versus 1, you know, where you have a laning advantage. If you back anybody else behind that to help you out with the damage whatsoever, it is going to get you more than losing one member in a laning mismatch at a different part of the map. And what I mean is like the 2-3 split versus the 1-4, right? More often than not, especially within this meta, and a map like this where macro is kind of dead and the rotation can be very slow, I do want to see more of that kind of 3-2 transitions, because I do think it will gain more, again, because defending as a 3 versus the 4 is going to be a lot easier than the 1 versus 2.
You can see the kind of mind games going on here. Both teams just kind of playing a little bit of musical chairs. Everybody kind of rotating around. Instead, both teams will kind of rotate back to the alternate side, pick up the Impalers here at the early minute mark. See who gets that value, though. Again, having that Greymane there kind of gives you something a little bit different. See if Team 12 tries to get aggressive, as the Sonic Arrow just going to kind of keep an eye on Diablo and team.
Cap did go for a bit of a flank for a moment, but Justin able to scout it out there with that anchoring. Anchoring, I feel like, is another thing that is also extremely important within this meta. Obviously, competitive HGC compared to your solo queue, I guarantee we see a lot more anchoring than you see, you know, kind of in that experience. But I do feel like, hold up though, rotation from Dansky towards Priz. I think he's got jet propulsion, going to be blocked out. Good job there from Dansky, but Prismat makes it out.
That Greymane threat is real early game. I mean, obviously we've seen the change to his swipe there once he's in that Worgen form, going from 3 to 4 seconds. But outside of that, the auto attacks that you get from that, I mean, technically auto attacks are stronger anyways, so it's just one of those things you cycle in between autos.
Team 12 backing out to their Shaman. Going to be mirrored here by Simplicity. 29 seconds out. Who's going to gain the upper hand? I will say there's an opportunity here with the double support versus the non-double support for Team 12 to just kind of ignore the first objective and try, not ignore it, you can't fully ignore an Immortal, let's be real here, but less committed, less hardcore committing to it, and kind of baby that bottom lane in the process and really make sure that they kind of don't cater to what the double support is successful at. That in mind, I also don't look at double support as that threatening pre-10. It can be annoying if I overcommit, but it's pretty easy to kind of play it slow. But that's why you see this 3-man commitment to the bottom half of the map. It's a lot of what you can get away with because double support. What are you going to do, lose the race? I mean, Uther's not going to do much to it. Ask me how much Tukov's going to do to it, right? Like, the race isn't there. It's all about the Hanzo. And if you can wear the scattering arrows, what Justin is doing as kind of a attemptive solo man, it makes it a lot slower on that race.
Before level 7, because you get the cooldown reduction with each auto attack. Prismat, he's going to be the focus here, not able to get that flip back over. You do see the shield, the health of the Immortal falling quite rapidly now as the rest of the team has kind of moved in, but the 50% mark, generally, Dreadnought, you're not getting that a fort down with the first Immortal unless you have a full shield. At this point,
it's a huge advantage.
Yeah.
It's not only an advantage there, but they may even win the Immortal still. Keep in mind, it is not over yet. Like, there is a 7 spike about to get hit for Team 12. They're going to be able to zone off probably pretty effectively. They've got good enough race. Dansky's already backing out to get the 1-4 split on the objective. Now it's just, can Simplicity force and get the fight that they need? Goku goes in for a moment, split from the rest of the squad. Cap yet to pull out that power slide. Going to move in.
The minute the health started to go down on the other side there, you know that Greymane's over there because it's going down way too fast. So that's why you saw Simplicity. They're like, all right, we've been pushed off long enough. We know that kill threat isn't as strong, so we're going to push in. And just less than a half of a shield, which means that taking down a fort on the side of Team 12, definitely a big win in the early part.
It's likely going to be pretty successful defense as well. We'll see who ends up, you know, gaining the profit. This is one of the cool things, is we actually get to directly cross-compare. How much will that give versus the decision-making to kind of forfeit up? That was, I was going to say, a interesting decision-making in the direction for that cyber agility. Force the split strike now from Kira. Shielding on the Immortal after the front wall goes down is going to drop, moving in the melee form. Unlikely to get much past probably this front wall. Well, we'll see if they can zone off of it here.
It kind of makes me wonder, like, do they feel that they have to get more? Do they have to get this first full fort down?
They're going to get dove on.
This is an opportunity, honestly, that after that fort wall starts to go down, I would have loved to see them just rotate top. They don't have the fear of losing their bottom fort because it's already gone. And taking down the entire top fort wall is equivalent to the same amount of experience as that fort there. Not getting the fort down, you don't get much except for maybe future control. But in terms of experience, you still find yourself a little bit behind, but not as much as we saw just about a minute ago.
Stun coming up from Zuna. Power slide. K1 Pro with the following lurking arm. Buds, can he get the Radiant dash out? He will. After throwing that nice, oh my gosh, that is when Earth Ally is the single-handedly the thing that keeps him alive. Power slide coming out now onto Justing in a bad spot. Ends up going down here. Team 12 lose the member on a very good initiation there coming out from Zuna.
Tyrael and Blaze just kind of lighten things up here at the top. And it looks like Prismat and Goku, they're just going to hang out together.
Blaze wins this real hard, but Goku.
He's going to make it a little bit easier with a Genji by his side.
Here we go. Now, can Priz make it out? He doesn't even try. He's like, yep, this is my home now. Nope, he's got friends. Zuna comes in. And now they both are in a bad spot.
Oh, you bring your friend? Well,
oh, he's going to give a reset over to Cure. Oh, my goodness. Double kill.
Somebody had more friends.
Yeah. You know, they should probably work on that. You know, it's not like I have any room to talk. I got about 0 friends, so.
I'm right here.
Okay, but see, that's the thing. It's like you're the only, like, notice how they have at least 4 people they're playing with. I'm stuck with you every single weekend, mate, and you're my only one.
Yes, but I'm the size of 2 people, so technically, you got like 2 friends in one. Hey!
Hey, bargain shop in here.
Oh, God.
Anyways. 10's picked up now for Team 12 as they secure that top 4 for themselves after the brilliant double kill. No hesitation coming out from Buds, locking in that divine palm. Lightning breath, baby, let's go!
Oh,
we got it! It's here, Sanctification Lightning Breath. It is one of the best, because so Lightning Breath is a great heroic and the damage is amazing, but typically you can die. Sanctification underneath you, you're going to take 0 damage and you're going to just chunk all the members of Simplicity as they funnel through. It's a very good anti-mosh pit. A lot of people underestimate this. You go interrupt the mosh pit. What if he just goes, I'm going to kill your team when you funnel into the back line, because nobody can out-trade this. Ooh, I'm excited. I don't know if you couldn't tell, but I'm super excited.
Still remember my first ever event was the esports arena event, and it was Team Blaze back then. They ran the Tyrael Diablo on Infernal Shrines, and I just it created so much chaos. Like, it was like you had to stop letting them have it. There it is. The Lightning Breath is out.
Unstoppable during that process, so K1 Bro can't do too much. But you know, when it's Lightning Breath by himself, it's not as it's not nearly as intimidating. You know, for all that excitement, it just kind of came out and it was like he was just puking fire everywhere, and everybody's like, okay, like, I guess. Like, I mean, calm down, Diablo. We don't have to be so mad all the time, man.
We can go back to Diablo 2. Oh, the early version of Diablo 3.
Look at this flank from Justin.
Oh, he's looking for the play.
He's going to hit by the stun. Cap want to follow up. No, not going to do so.
I thought he might have had a power slide into that to make sure and keep him locked down a little bit longer into the next stun. Didn't get that, but here is where Hanzo shines. Getting a little bit of that geometry going here. As long as he can continue to bank these shots off of the wall, just continue to hit those scatter arrows. Justin, he's going to look for vision.
It's going to get revealed, though, by Hosey. Prismat did end up clearing up the Shamans, now joined the rest of the ranks of Simplicity. Went towards the top lane to deal with Dansky, who's been pressuring out top lane slowly but surely with each and every wave.
They're looking for the flank.
Maybe out a bit too far.
Super forward here, but no wall to crash him into yet. Good peel there by King Caffeine, bringing over the face melt.
Team 12 back out here for the defense onto this Immortal. Probably just going to wait back Lightning Breath. That's one difference between Lightning Breath and APOC, is the cooldown is colossally different. Only 60 seconds on Lightning Breath.
See if they can make the play. The flank again by Cure on the right side on Genji. He's got his eyes there. Greymane still split off, so a lot of that kill potential's not there.
I guess that was intentional by Justin to wear all those so that didn't get the damage out, but at the same time, man, that was a huge chunk from Hosey.
Druins is down. You got to be careful. Hosey, you got to be very careful as he gets instantly into that wall, but the healing's going to be there. There's a big mosh pit. That's going to be onto 3 people, and there's no interrupt. Fire, Hell, and Brimstone all go down. That is 2 members on the side of Team 12. Maybe more. Divine Palm a little bit early, Dread.
Oh, my mosh pit. King Caffeine with the 4-man party. And now Simplicity is going to be able to get their very first map objective, or second map objective for themselves. They're going to be able to open up this game. Very clear. Great play there from Simplicity. That counter initiation was on point. I thought for sure the minute, because Zuna got the cleanse onto Hosey, but he was already below 25% HP. I didn't think there was any chance, but that funneling on forcing that initiation, in the counterplay there from Caffeine. Look at this.
Everybody, I actually missed Cure there on the bottom side is 4 people, and then Pyromania hit by Prismat is just lighting everybody up there.
That was one of the situations, the only person out of it is Buds, and he's just going like, man, I can't help you guys. Like, I'm just throwing my punches into Blaze. Blaze is sitting there going like, boys, oh, wow, Sanctification actually going to be forced. Bunker dropped. Prismat trying to kite out.
Prismat does get out. Dragonblade is out. Justin team going forward, but Justin doesn't have the escape out, so he's going to flip, create a little bit of space for himself. King Caffeine forced to power slide out. Team 12 still on the assault here. Do not get the takedown yet. Dansky somehow makes it out alive after missing that go for the throat. There's the lightning breath.
Getting all the damage there, but, you know, it also comes at the cost without that Sanctification. Ends up dropping. Cure trying to get the reset onto Hosty. The passive explosion. The armor from Zuna is not enough, and Cure now trying to make it out. The Immortal is being dealt with here by Dansky. Oh, that was a very early Swift Strike. Yeah, that was not necessary. He could have held on to that for a long while. Now he's going to be tracked down. Bud's trying to save him. I don't know if Bud's has Palm. He has Cyber Agility. No, he does not. Jet Propulsion lands. Good night, Cure.
Yeah, that's a feels bad man moment, because I feel like I saw something similar yesterday. It's like you don't have to use that yet, but the minute you do, like, you're now out of escape options. I mean, it seemed like, okay, I should be fine here, but then the minute you realize, you're like, oh wait, I'm actually not fine.
I think the idea was to kind of go up into that U-shrub and then expect nobody to think you would Swift Strike immediately into that, right? Outside of the fog, but then Zuna was conveniently right in that exact area. Like, okay, this is nice. I mean, I'll tell you, I will take free Genji kills as an Uther whenever I'm out there. You know, oftentimes you're like, oh man, if I could just be impactful for my team, but when it's on a silver platter, you just give him the Hammer of Justice.
He went the Silver Hand at level 1, so close.
The Silver Hand of Justice?
Silver Touch, Silver Touch.
Oh my gosh, you ruined that, and then I tried to play with it. That was just, oh, come on, J-Hal. Come on, let's go.
Silver Hand, Silver Touch, kind of the same.
So though this is Simplicity, you know, with the Miracle fight over that last skirmish, they still have a lot to go. You know, I don't think we're going to see 4-man mosh pits left and right. We might see Sanctifications, Divine Palms, and Lightning Breaths used before 3 members of Team 12 die over the next skirmish. And if that happens, because Experience is still dead even within this game, structurally, it is near dead even onto it. So it is now, Simplicity has to be able to do that again. And after that last skirmish, Team 12 probably gained confidence, you know, going 1-for-1 in that trade, even being down some heroics.
Just wonder if, you know, we see a lot of Way of the 100 Fists for a little bit of extra damage. You do have the cleanse on 16 on your Radiant Dash if you are Kerosene. The only problem is cleansing into a mosh pit. You have to be very careful about your position and the direction with which you take. So I wonder if that is now a thing to where it's like, all right, maybe I have to go this when I wasn't anticipating it. That's a very interesting spot to be in.
Hammer of Justice there, Power Slide, Lurking Arm, Jet Propulsion. Would you like to control your character? Buds with the Clutch Palm, though, is going to save Goku.
See, King Caffeine receives the cleanse there, making sure that Diablo not able to get much more follow-up, but the flanking position here of Justin and team looking for a little bit of action. They're going to come over, push in the bot lane one more time. Camps do have to be cleared up, but Simplicity looking for a fight, Dread.
Yeah, Simplicity's looking to get this flank, try and force it out. Zuna kind of waiting on the side. He's going to open with that Hammer of Justice onto Goku, but it's just a Hammer of Justice. He makes it out.
See, the intent was there. Unable to get it. Greymane instantly dives on, gets a little bit of damage onto the Immortal. Again, the experience is the same, but that Shaman Camp now has to be dealt with, and Hanzo's about to destroy this Immortal Dread.
Yeah, he's going to do what he does best. Auto, scatter, auto, scatter. You know, it's kind of like the pattern of the Immortal itself. You know, spin, stun, stun, spin, stun, stun.
Sounds like I'm doing my laundry, but either way, 16 here, closer for Team 12. Defensive positioning here, we saw last time, looked like Hosty was able to get quite a bit of geometry in. You can see he's going to bounce these in. As long as he keeps his range, that's there. But top lane, Zuna's got to be careful, Dread.
Oh, he's going to get tracked down by Dansky. Bud's coming in as well. He's got Stukov to save the day, though, over the wall here. So I think he's just going to be just fine. Hanzo and friends here recollecting themselves. Justin goes in. Nice interrupt from Cap to make sure
both supports. Both supports are late here, Dread.
But Hosty makes it over the wall with the natural agility. There goes the bunker down. Lightning Breath kind of ripping through. Justin able to kite back.
Coming through, the bunker was down. That is a utility that's no longer going to be there. But Lightning Breath, as you said, short cooldown, but that's not going to be there if another fight breaks out. One thing that is still there is that mosh pit. They have to be oh so careful of it. The Eldruin's going down there, always a red flag. it looks like King Caffeine's willing to stand on him.
Justin goes in, gonna get interrupted there on the opportunity to get the suplex over. Great lurking arm coming up from K1 Pro. The Dragon Arrow hits onto Goku. The flailing swipe comes out, but the palm from Buds. Justin ends up dropping for the Sanctification. The Mosh Pit locking down 2. The Tyrael passive goes off, but the Divine Shield saves Prismaticism. Now they're gonna track down Buds. He's able to Radiant dash out, but 2 members of Team 12 are down, and now Hosi doing work on the Immortal. This is, what, 65% shielding, and we're looking at keeps, maybe gain.
It's big time right here. Simplicity, and when these fights break out, they just have so much control over this. Team 12 not able to crack the double support. You know, things looked a little bit scary there because one support went to save the other support. We saw Team 12 unable to confirm anything in the early going. With this amount of shield, keep seems likely, but Team 12 has the tools to potentially dive past this and look for a fight.
4 seconds out from the Diablo. Sidewall is going to be dropped as fast as possible. Well, not too much emphasis. Only K1, or excuse me, Caffeine paid much attention to that. There's so many melees on the side of 12. It's unlikely the shielding is going to be removed until at least the keep gets down to 50% HP. Will they move past?
You see the threat is there. Zuna taking the sidewalls down. King Caffeine zoning. There they go. They're going in deep. There's the flip over. The Lightning Breath is out. Prismat, though, he's on the front side, still has that bunker if needed.
Yeah, nice stun there onto the Immortal stun from Zuna, getting the setup for that Immortal. Keep going to drop down. Will Simplicity go for game? They're looking for it. They're looking to move up. They got the stun.
Zuna takes damage. There's the reset on that shadow charge. It's not going to be enough. Simplicity going in. There's the power slide. Will we get the dance party?
They got the jet propulsion. Not going to need the mosh pit yet. Sanctification did come in. 3 members into the bunker. Core shielding is now going to be removed. Justin zoning out the backline. No damage onto the core yet. Team 12 can hold this off. Look at them going forward. Buds gets silenced and he goes down. That's the first thing Simplicity needs if they're going to end this game.
98% and falling, as you said, no more shields. And now Simplicity hanging around with this double support, but the flanking position, they're looking to get the pinch in. 75% on this core health. When will Team 12 pull the trigger?
Zuna pulled the trigger on the stun. King Caffeine got the follow-up. K1 Pro, though, threw down the lurking arm. Prisma ends up hitting the jet propulsion onto Kira, using the Dragon's Blade to be able to get out of there, as we have what is going to be one of the more tense pauses I have ever experienced here at the HGC. Oh, my heart, my jimmies, man. All kinds of rustled right now.
Good old Rainer. Well, we saw...
Barely, I broke J-Hal with that one.
We saw really low health bars on the side of Team 12, and they were going in for the kill. You saw Diablo coming in for the flank, Kieran team coming in on the Genji, trying to get that squeeze in, but there was so much kind of return damage onto that Diablo that it's making it very difficult for them to find that initiation. And as you said, the minute Karazim goes down, you lose all support possible. You know, Tyrael still kind of lurking around, I believe, so we're trying to see if he can provide any type of substance to this. The core sitting at about 76% health. Notably, they hadn't done damage in a few seconds, so Shield's starting to regenerate on that core. If they're going to win this, they have to get another pick or two to try and reapproach that core.
One thing that I feel like we've seen from Simplicity in this game that we haven't seen from any of the North American teams when it comes to Blaze, some of the synergies, is the ETC Blaze. Every single time a jet propulsion hits one, there's a multiple man power slide. If a multiple man power slide happens, jet propulsion is getting the follow-up, and that is leading to so much I mean, to be honest with you, at first I wanted to be really critical about Goku, and I was like, we are not seeing Sanctification, and that is, I mean, if you're going to go Lightning Breath here with go for the throw over the Curse Bullet opportunities, you've got to be sancting, getting value out of it, and we're not even, I don't even think we've seen one, and normally you'd be like, well, maybe we can make up that with the Holy Ground. Didn't get Holy Ground selected either, so Tyrael is kind of just a hero that is existing within the game as it currently stands, but that is because the pressure of the AoE stuns, right? It's like, oh, I want to go save anybody whatsoever. I can't get around it. And it's not like you're like, well, Murden's got a skill shot where he has to be lined up, pierce through one, and then maybe he will hit me. It's like, no, if I'm anywhere near them, because jet propulsion is a reapplied explosion after the fact, it's just stunned out and one shot every time.
I think Divine Shield was used onto that last ETC power slide, anticipating the mosh pit.
Yeah.
I don't know if it got interrupted right before that or whether it just nobody was kind of on the same page. So that looked to be maybe the defining moment to kind of seal the deal. They weren't able to pick that up, but it is something that we'll try and see if they can turn this around. Again, it's all on Simplicity. You know, they don't have to take this fight, but they have the advantage. They have the health advantage. They have the double support. They have the sieging capabilities to get on that one member still down on the side of Team 12. So when Simplicity does kind of fall back, it seems to be with this double support Uther, and this is the one when you have the Hanzo on Battlefield of Eternity, it's a little bit more forgiving.
It's a little bit more forgiving, you know, and also when looking at the kind of picture that's being painted in the game right now. Luckily, I still have a monitor where I can kind of get a glance at it. And we do have, you know, pretty much every member on the side of Team 12 is under 20% HP. Dansky's the healthiest at like 30%. Trying to withdraw. Everybody on the side of Simplicity is above 60, about 70, maybe even more so. When you talked about the double support Hanzo, they can siege up on the core for long periods of time. But there's one element that remains on the side of Team 12 that I think has to kind of disappear before this is GG, and that's got to be Genji. Genji is one of the best anti-core defenses, even so much so that I think we saw an overreaction to kind of focusing on the Genji on a core defense yesterday out of some of our games here in NA. And it's not because he's good at defending actually, right? It's more just he does a lot of damage and he gets a lot of kills, and the kills stack to immediate resets, which then increases the pace at which you are not going to get that damage onto the core. So if somehow Team 12 can maybe keep that Genji, go back, get full HP, get the all-in, there may be a chance that they can hold off. Otherwise, I expect Simplicity to take this win.
It's looking good. I mean, Team 12, again, draft-wise, into double support. This is obviously hard to pull off. I think we're about to head back into the game, so we'll see how this plays out.
March up to the core. Genji, where is he at here? Just able to make it back, 60% and counting. Justin's going to move up, go on to K1 Pro. Do we see Cure get the resets? He has to. Bunker drop, 4 members in, Lightning Breath out. Goku now trying to get out there, but enough damage out of that flamethrower, and they want nothing to do with it here. Dansky getting the autos in.
K1 Pro, he got low. Let's see if he ends up falling.
No
he does
resets.
not there. 30% falling on this core. It looks like Simplicity has done it despite losing members. Should have enough auto attack damage here.
Oh my goodness,
Yes.
Prismat is off. Prismat got suplexed off. They did it, they held off. Oh my gosh, Prismat. He can't do
does
it.
he get one more Q?
Flamethrower, oil.
Oh, he didn't get to light it on fire.
My goodness.
Okay, the bottom wall has taken damage, I think, on the side. I think Team 12 has to go for the home run play here.
They have to. Is there any way anybody can make it back to the core whatsoever? No, nobody on the side of Simplicity can make that all in or that rotation fast at all. It's probably going to be Blaze the man to make that happen if anybody. Sidewall taken. They have core. They have Sanctification. They can end this game.
I think this is it. They have the Greymane. They are able to get on this. Lightning Breath should be back as well. They keep already falling.
That's so much damage lost. Okay, Eyes in the Dark get the reset. 9 seconds out.
This should be it. We have a Dragon Zero that will be here to try and lock it down. You've got to prepare that Sanctification. We'll see Justin eating the core shots. All 4 members of Team 12 are going to be here. Shields have fallen. There's the Dragon Arrow hitting onto 4 people. Sonic Arrow going out as well. Sanctification is down.
Sanctification dropped, and now there is nothing left to be said about this one. Team 12 will not end up making the
Mosh
same.
pit!
Oh, Mosh pit!
No way!
No way!
No
5%,
way!
4, 3, no way, 2, 1. What? Oh, they get it with the Fire Stomp out of Justin. That was...
Oh my!
Wow, that mosh pit, I didn't think for a second that would even be close. The fact that they were even clumped, like, let's be real here. Number one thing when you learn to go for the core, do not clump, except for the Sanct. When Sanct ends, you split up, and then the 5-man mosh pit, able to get the hit there. Whew.
If they say
I don't even have words if they say that. I would just straight up be like, there is no world where you should ever let this type of thing happen. That being said, I also question on both core rushes. I feel like both were very, you know, kind of questionable on how they ended up functioning there. I really do feel like without giving up that reset, that surely we should have seen the members of Simplicity able to get that win. We have a replay. I don't know if it's core 1 or core 2, but it's probably going to be a juicy one because that was high impact.
I mean, the whole save that you pointed out onto the Blaze was kind of the key thing to keep everything going here on that 2%.
Yeah, so Blaze gets isolated later on. Hold on, here comes this. So look at, everybody is worried about the resets, and everyone focuses on the K1 Pro. Greymane goes in, go for the throw, goes in, heal number 1, heal number 2, no reset available. But then look at the zoning here onto Prismaticism in a couple of seconds as K1 can't move up to get the auto. A lot of damage onto Zuna, and then suddenly Justin goes, oh man, we need to get this away. Flip again, shove back even farther, hits the stun, then body blocks to death.
He got the 1 Q in, puts the oil down. Unable. I didn't know if he had another Q available to kind of get that jet stream going, but here it is. Here's the core on the other side. You know, the Dragon Zero hit, maybe a little bit mistimed. Obviously, Sanctification will go down, and you keep an eye on the death timers there. This is when the big plays come in. And Dread, you mentioned, don't group. King Caffeine comes in, tries to get it, somehow gets the 5. There's actually The lightning breath is still going on, so Diablo still had the lightning breath going.
If he didn't hit that lightning breath, they don't win that game. Purely because of that clump on the Sanctification into the K1 Pro lurking arm that did not force the 3-2 split. If Justin single-handedly, honestly, was the only reason they won that game on two fronts, he was also the only one separated from the Dragon's Arrow from the very beginning, which was very predictable. Again, the minute you see that Hanzo spawn, honestly, I would have synced. I just go, wait for it, half a second, drop this. Yeah. There's no way he does not immediately pop that because the stun distance, you want it as most optimal as you can. Then he's the only one standing separated, and he gets the lightning breath off last second before that mosh pit comes in. It's unstoppable, so he gets all that damage. Otherwise, they hold off that game.
I want to watch it again. I want to watch it slower because if he sees the ETC coming in, whether it's, look, I'm doing damage, or whether it's like, oh, God, I've got to survive this because the Unstoppable, I like that you pointed that out at level 10 when they picked it up because that just won the game. That is mind-blowing.
It's mind-blowing. But after all that action, all the fireworks, Team 12 now is up 2 wins over Simplicity. We're going to go to a quick commercial break, and when we come back, we will have the possible conclusion here with the Game 3, unless Simplicity has something to say about that. And they want nothing to do with it here. Dansky getting the autos in.
K1 Pro, he got low. Let's see if he ends up falling.
No
he does
resets.
Not there. 30% falling on this core. It looks like Simplicity has done it despite losing members. Should have enough auto attack damage here.
Oh my goodness,
yes.
Prismat is off. Prismat got suplexed off. They did it, they held off. Oh my gosh, Prismat. He can't do it.
Does he get one more Q?
Flamethrower, oil.
Oh, he didn't get to light it on fire.
My goodness.
We'll see Justin eating the core shots. All 4 members of Team 12 are going to be here. Shields have fallen. There's the Dragon Arrow hitting onto 4 people. Sonic Arrow going out as well. Sanctification is down.
Sanctification dropped, and now there is nothing left to be said about this one. Team 12 will not end up making this.
Mosh pit! Oh, mosh pit! No way!
No way!
No way!
5%, 4, 3, no way! 2, 1, the 1! Oh, they get it with the fire stomp!